Hello, my YouTube sisters. I am Grace Robles, and I am a 49-year-old woman who has decided to start her first YouTube channel. And I said to myself, I should make my first video be about me, just to introduce who I am so you can just get a little taste. Who is Grace? And you will get to know me as you watch my videos. But let me give you some information about me today. So, I am a mother of 4. I have a daughter and 3 sons. I'm also a nurse, and I've been a nurse for over 20 years. And I'm also an emotional intimacy coach for women who still love their partners, but they just don't know how to feel in love anymore. I work with these women and they're aching for affection. They're longing for touch. They wonder, is it okay to even want more? It's like looking for permission, right? And they're tired of over functioning. They're been holding everything together. They're disappearing inside of these lives that they've worked so hard to build. And of course, I know what that ache is like because I've lived it. But let me take you back a little bit to the days of when I was growing up. I grew up in Queens, New York. I am a Filipina queen, but I was born and raised in Queens in a Filipina family, and I was raised on faith, sacrifice, which is a huge Filipino thing, and we also have a deep reverence for family. And my mother, I get emotional when I talk about her. She passed away in 2016, and she was emotional. So you could say I'm very much like my mother. She was profoundly, deeply loving and deeply expressive. But even in a house that was full of feelings, we still buried what felt too heavy. And when I came around trying to name these things that were painful or confusing, it often ended in frustration. So I learned sometimes silence, or many times silence, was a safer choice. And my father, he didn't leave all at once. He slowly disappeared. And by the time I was a very young 5 years old, he had already moved away. And he started a new life with a new family. So he loved me and he left. And that confusion, it shaped the way I saw love. So I thought that if I could just be more impressive, more lovable, more perfect, then maybe he'd stay. And that was the first time I learned to perform for love. And by the age of 7, a family member began to touch me inappropriately. And that continued until I was about 14. And did I tell someone? Yes, I did. But the response I got was, he said he's sorry. He won't do it again. But he did. And I was still expected to smile at the table, to stay quiet, to carry it alone at 7 years old. So I did. I was the strong one. I was the sweet one. I was the achiever, the girl who didn't fall apart. But inside, I was completely unraveling. I learned how to save just a little bit for myself to survive the day. And by the time I was in college, I was still chasing love, but in all the wrong ways. I said yes when I wanted to say no, and I gave my body, hoping it would make someone stay, hoping it would make me enough. But I always ended up feeling emptier. I kept trying to prove that I was worthy of being chosen. Like, why not me? But then I met Steve. He pulled up in a Mustang, this very particular yellow Mustang he'll tell you when he talks about his Mustang. And I got into the passenger seat of that Mustang, and I want to say it was like magic. The moment owned me. And it wasn't something I was declaring, but something in my soul was whispering to me, this is him. I felt it in my bones. And not because I thought, oh, this would be easy to be with this guy, but because something about Steve felt safe. And now we've been married for over 20 years, and we've raised 4 incredible children. But we've lived through trauma, grief, silence, reconnection, joy, and laughter. Steve has brought me so much laughter, and that laughter still saves us. But it wasn't always beautiful, right? There were years when we barely touched, when our conversations were just about bills or schedules, and when I felt completely unseen, even though I was in the same room as a man that I loved. And we didn't stay together because it was easy, because it definitely wasn't. We stayed because we knew something sacred could still be built. And we were right. So now, we laugh, we flirt, we talk about the hard things without shutting down. And yes, do we still argue? Yes. Do we burn food in the kitchen? Yes. But you'll see joy when you see us, at a party, when you see us walking in the mall. That joy was built in the dark with tired hands and broken hearts. But through it all, I found my way back to myself, my truth, my voice, my body, to my Diwa. And I know you guys are wondering, Diwa, what does Diwa mean? Well, let me tell you. So, in my culture, so I am born and raised in New York City, but the culture I was raised in my home was a Filipino culture. My ancestors are from the island of Luzon in the Philippine Islands, and our language is Tagalog. And in Tagalog, Diwa means soul. It's your spirit, the essence of who you are. Your Diwa is your inner knowing. That sacred truth. It's that part of you that stays intact no matter what you've survived. So, reconnecting with your Diwa, it's not about becoming someone new. It's about finally coming home to who you've always been. And when you do that, you begin to show up in Kapwa. Now, Kapwa is our shared humanity. It's this belief that we're all in this sacred connection with each other, with our ancestors, with the divine. And Kapwa reminds us that you are not alone. And that's why I do this work. Because healing doesn't happen when you isolate yourself. It happens in connection, in community, in conversation, in Kapwa. And this YouTube space, it's not about perfection. It's about presence. It's where, I'm just looking at my dog over here. Being on you, she's just so cute. She's just like getting up now to walk around. So yeah, this YouTube space, I'm not looking for perfection, and I hope that you're not either. I'm here on YouTube to be present. This is where I'm going to share stories, the hard ones, the really funny ones, and the ones I used to be afraid to say out loud. You're going to hear me talk about marriage, sex, motherhood, childhood trauma, forgiveness. I struggle with that one sometimes, and recently I've been struggling with that one. I'll also speak about resentment and joy, and that quiet work, that magnificent, mindful work of staying in a relationship that still has your heart. So you'll hear me laugh. You'll hear me cuss a little occasionally. And you'll hear the real. And if something in you feels like it's waking up as you listen, that's your Diwa. That's your Diwa saying, "Hi, I'm still here. Come back to me." So, subscribe. I'm actually saying so subscribe. I watch people say so subscribe all the time, but it's me this time. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. Stay close. I want you to watch what calls to you. And when you're ready to stop performing and start reconnecting, I'll be here. Because you don't need a new life. You need a new relationship with the one you already have. And it's one where you will finally feel included. That's what reconnection is. That's what Diwa makes possible. And that's why I'm here. For you. In Kapwa always.